It was a time when kings usually went off to war, but one evening, King David stayed behind in his palace in Jerusalem. As the sun was setting, he walked out onto his rooftop, and from there, he noticed a woman bathing. She was very beautiful. Her name was Bathsheba. David asked about her and learned something important. She was married to a soldier named Uriah the Hittite, one of his own loyal warriors who was away fighting in battle. But instead of turning away, David made a choice that would change everything. He sent for Bathsheba and brought her to the palace, and they spent the night together. Afterward, she returned home. Sometime later, Bathsheba sent a message to David with shocking news. She was pregnant. Suddenly, David realized the seriousness of what he had done. Instead of admitting his mistake, he tried to cover it up. David called Uriah back from the battlefield. His plan was simple. If Uriah went home to his wife, people would assume the baby was his. David welcomed Uriah warmly and told him to go home and relax, to spend time with his wife. But Uriah did something unexpected. He refused to go home. Instead, he slept outside the palace with the king's servants. When David asked him why, Uriah replied with deep loyalty, saying he could not enjoy comfort while his fellow soldiers were out there in the open fields, fighting for their lives. David tried again the next day. He even invited Uriah to eat and drink with him, hoping it would change his mind. But Uriah remained firm. He still refused to go home. At this point, David's plan had failed, and instead of doing the right thing, he made an even worse decision. David wrote a letter and gave it to Uriah to deliver to the army commander. Uriah had no idea he was carrying his own death sentence. The letter ordered the commander to place Uriah at the front lines of the fiercest battle and then pull back the other soldiers, leaving him alone. The plan worked. Uriah was killed in battle. When the news reached David, he acted as if it was just another loss of war. After a period of mourning, David brought Bathsheba into his home, and she became his wife. To others, it may have looked like everything was settled, like the problem was gone. But the truth is, nothing is ever hidden from God. What David did was deeply wrong. He had abused his power, taken another man's wife, and arranged for an innocent man's death. And though he tried to cover it up, the consequences could not be avoided. This story reminds us of something important. Sometimes one wrong choice leads to another, and then another, until things spiral out of control. David was known as a great king, a man after God's own heart, but even he made serious mistakes. The lesson here is not just about failure. It is about honesty, responsibility, and the danger of trying to hide our actions instead of facing them. Because no matter who we are, or how powerful we may seem, our choices always matter. And in the end, the truth always comes to light.